My name's Alan Carter. I'm the president and CEO of Cabral Gold. We have an advanced gold project in Brazil, and today we've just announced the construction financing on our stage 1 heap leach starter project.
Alan, good day to you. Happiest man in Italy, and that's saying a lot. Well done. Tell me about the terms and who did you get the money from, and why did you pick this group?
Yeah, Matt. Look. Obviously, with the gold price going up significantly, there's been quite a lot of interest in our starter project. As you saw from the PFS study that we announced at the end of July, the economics look very, very strong at $2,500 an ounce, and now we're in a gold price environment which is way above that. And at $2,500 an ounce, it was, the IRR on this project is 74%. So we're very, very pleased to have secured this financing, this gold loan package. The Precious Metals Yield Fund is an affiliate of the Phoenix Gold Fund, which is our largest institutional shareholder. So we know each other extremely well. We think this is an extremely competitive funding package. There is no dilution to the capital structure here. This is a gold loan. It has a 39-month term. We had several offers of financing on the table. And this was the best deal. So we're very, very pleased. It takes away all the financing risk essentially. So construction has been approved by the board. So that's underway. We've already started that, ordering long lead items, clearing the site, upgrading the infrastructure, building new bridges, et cetera, et cetera. So that will all now accelerate. It's a 12-month build process. We expect to be in production in the fourth quarter of 2026.
Yeah, so it's all good, right? But I think the market was expecting some kind of equity deal, and I think that's sort of reflective in what's happening with the stock recently. But so to talk about the kind of optionality that you had with regards to, and then eventually settling on this kind of gold-linked repayment versus traditional debt or gold streaming.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of these sorts of deals, you have a debt component and then an equity component. I think a lot of people were expecting us to do something similar. There's no equity raise as part of this financing. It's fully funded. The actual capex is only $37.7 million here. The all-in sustaining costs from our pre-feasibility study are $1,210 an ounce. So you're looking at $3,000 margin here, profit margin on every ounce we produce. Now, this is just a small starter operation, right, to get us into production. The big prize here is the much larger hard rock project. But, 25,000 ounces a year with a $3,000 margin, I mean, you can do the math on that. So the other thing, that because this is $45 million, as I said, the actual capex is a little bit less than 38. That's going to allow us to keep our foot on the accelerator in terms of the exploration. So the rigs will continue to turn. We're going to continue to focus on growing the global resource at Cuiú. But very, very exciting times.
Well, and let's just talk about it, because I want to get into it, because there will be detractors, there will be people sort of curious as well. You talk about this being like 14% of the gold produced during the starter project. Do you feel that is a price that absolutely makes sense to pay just to get this project going, just to be able to kind of get into a kind of cash flowing steady state?
Oh yeah, absolutely. 14%. That's of the gold will go towards paying down this loan over the life of mine. But we think this initial starter operation is going to continue way beyond the projected mine life as per the pre-feasibility study. The reason for that is because we're seeing a lot more of this oxide mineralization coming up at Cuiú. We've got 2 more of these blankets, Matt, that weren't included in the pre-feasibility study. So, I think that 14% of the life of mine gold produced will probably go down significantly moving forward. But no, we're very, very pleased. It allows us to get this thing into production without any further dilution to the capital structure and start making money. And as I said, it provides us with cash flow moving forward to the tune of about $75 million a year US pre-tax. That's 100 million Canadian just from this little starter operation. As you're aware, we're right next to the 3rd largest gold mine in Brazil. I was involved in the discovery of that, Tocantinzinho. That is a big mine. So we benefit from the proximity, if you like, to that in several ways. But we think we know that we've got a major district here, but we need cash to test all these targets. We've made 4 new gold discoveries, Matt, in the last 3 years. We need to drill all those off. add all those into the global resource base, and also test some of these other targets. And as you know, we've been getting some stunning drill results in the last 12 months, 11 meters at 33 grams. That's well outside the current resource envelopes, 12 meters at 27.7 grams. I mean, these are stunning numbers. So we need to drill all these things off. And as I said, the starter operation will give us the ability to do that.
Right. And obviously with this, because one group, right? So this was unknown to you as well. Any kind of covenants or operational conditions that are attached to the loan?
There are some conditions that we need to close it. So we've announced it today. We've signed the agreement, and there are some conditions that need to fall into place. It's mainly the subordination of security. Security is currently, we've got 2 royalty owners here, so they need to subordinate the security. That will happen over the next few weeks. So we expect to close this here very, very quickly.
Okay, fine. And you've chosen a sort of no hedging approach to this as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, who knows where the gold price is going to be next week, let alone 12 months time when we're in production. So we want to benefit and be exposed to the upside if the gold price continues to rise.
Right. And next, so remind me, how much free cash flow do you think this starter project will generate?
Well, initially about $75 million US.
Right. Okay. So
not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. What can you do with that? What do you intend to do with that?
Well, a large chunk of that will go into exploration, Matt. I mean, we've got 3 rigs turning right now. Once we're in production, I'd like to have 10. We've certainly got a lot of targets here that need testing. Beyond that, that's an open question. Obviously, with that kind of cash flow, it opens all sorts of doors. There may be other things that we want to do. I think it would be difficult for us to spend $75 million US just in exploration per year at Cuiú, but we're certainly going to be spending a significant chunk of that in exploration. Because again, as I said, we have a district scale project here. The footprint on this thing is massive. It's the largest gold district I've ever come across in my career. The amount of placer gold that was produced at Cuiú is 10 times greater than the amount of placer gold that came out of Tocantinzinho. And Tocantinzinho is the 3rd largest gold mine in Brazil. The gold in soil anomaly at Cuiú is 7 times larger than the gold in soil anomaly that Dennis and I got at Tocantinzinho before we got any drill holes into it. So, I've always maintained to you that I think Cuiú is going to be a multi-million ounce district. This funding of this starter project really gives us the ability now to really go to town and drill all these targets off. I mean, just to re-emphasize it again, we've got boulder fields here where the boulders on the ground are averaging 90 grams a ton. And we've got similar sorts of values in a dozen different parts of the project. So we need to run all those things down and find out how many gold deposits we've got here. But it's going to be very, very interesting moving forward.
Okay, well, look, and people can sort of look at the terms, strike price, warrants, etc. On their own. I want to kind of get into, just to remind myself, you're looking for first gold pour when?
Q4 2026. So 12 months.
12 months. Okay, fine. And in terms of how you go about delivering that over the next, I understand it's technically relatively simple, but give me those milestones over the next 12 months in terms of the build.
Well, look, we have to close this arrangement, so that will happen in the next, and draw that money down, draw that gold down. So that will happen in the next few weeks. As I said, there will be a constant news flow moving forward. We expect to commission the plant in Q3. And first pour in Q4. Look, I just like to give a shout out to the team as well, because we built, I think, a really cracking operational team here. Our VP Project Development, John Seston, has done an excellent job on this, as has our country manager, Rory McKnight, and particularly Luis Solaro, who's our construction manager, who recently joined us. Luis has been responsible for building several gold mines in Brazil. So, I'm very, very proud of the team we've built. We've got to add some additional people here reasonably quickly. So we are working with a series of search groups to fill some of these gaps that we need as we build the team out. But there's a lot happening, Matt. So that's basically the timeline here. It's a pretty
right.
sort of time frame to production.
Right, and okay, want to marry these things up. Okay, relatively simple build and operational team. So in terms of to get in the position where you can start with the procurement, in terms of detailed engineering and so forth, where are you? Have you kind of got ahead of yourself, or you be starting from scratch?
We're already well in procurement mode. We've the plant is actually being constructed as we speak in Western Australia. We have a group there called Como Engineering. So that was ordered several months ago. We expect delivery of that in the first quarter of next year. We have several teams working on improving the infrastructure, particularly the road. There's several new bridges being built. We've cleared the site. There's a lot going on. The detailed engineering is virtually complete. There's one or two other small pieces that we need to do, but it's well advanced, and we'll now accelerate on the basis of this decision.
Okay, so all the earthworks civil started, and everyone understands the timeline. In terms of so you talk about some of the team members that in terms of the process, the monitoring, and delivering against that kind of first pour Q4 2026. Who's managing that process?
Well, everything is under John and Luis, but we've also got Ausenco involved. Ausenco is a very large engineering firm, as you know. They have a big office in Brazil, so we've engaged with Ausenco to provide services under an EPCM contract. So we have an owners team that will work together with the Ausenco team on executing this and completing the build.
And is that a case of, will you be able to kind of walk and chew gum at the same time, in the sense that whilst this build is happening, will the exploration still continue?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I think what you see with a lot of projects that then go into build mode is that the focus then switches and there's no sort of no news coming out. That's not what's going to happen here. We're going to actually accelerate the exploration program. So we've split the teams. We're going to continue to drill. This additional money that we've got over and above the capex as part of this gold loan allows us to keep the rigs turning. So there'll be a constant stream of exploration news. I mean, what we're hoping to do here towards the end of next year is update that global resource. The resource base here at Cuiú is about 1.2 million ounces indicated and inferred. That was last updated in September 2022 when the gold price was back at about $1,800 an ounce. So there's a lot more gold. We've drilled 20,000 meters since then, Matt. And so we're going to drill at least another 20,000 meters in the next 6 to 9 months. So yeah, that exploration drill program will continue.
And I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, I'm interested in terms of your attitude to these things. Is like, okay, increase the resource, which people gives you a sense of the size of the opportunity. Do you bother? It was $75 million a year cash generated. Do you bother updating the economic component? Do we need to know that it's more? It's no longer 78% IRR, but it's higher. I mean, how do you view spending your time?
Well, we are, as I said, we've split the teams. I mean, so, what we're going to here is the stage 2. We've obviously is very, very important to us because most of the gold at Cuiú is in the hard rock material. That material will not be mined during stage 1. So we need a different approach to that. We're going to have to grind that material. It'll be a much, much larger operation. And so growing that hard rock resource is very, very important to us. And that's where the exploration drilling comes in. So we're going to continue to do that. Now, once we've grown that hard rock resource to a certain size, probably in the order of 2 to 2.5 million ounces, we'll then be scoping out, I think we'll most likely be doing a PA on that much larger stage 2 project. But for now, in the short term here, the emphasis is very much on building this stage 1 to mine this near-surface heap leach materials at surface, Matt. This is free digging material. It leaches extremely well. The mining and processing costs here are very low. It doesn't need to be crushed and ground. So getting this thing built and into operation is obviously going to be our main focus. But in parallel with that, again, we are going to be doing the exploration drilling, which is targeting that much larger hard rock resource. So expect lots of drill results.
Alan, you had me at $75 million per year. Okay, appreciate it. Well, congrats on that one. I know it's hard work to get these things over the line, but at least you had a lot of choice on the table, and we'll see how you get on. See you, Alan.
Thanks very much.